Hello everyone, my name is Jacques and I'm one of the developers. And me and Kobus are going to do some rondom tali, talking to you about existing exciting features, latest features, upcoming ones, and then a roadmap where you will be, if you've been here last year, where we show some stuff that we are thinking of doing and you can vote on it. So yeah, listen carefully. All of the things that we are saying, if you have any notes, make it on the paper, come talk to us in the dev room. That's the J, the boardroom that's at the end of the hall. Or go to any one of the expert stalls if you have any questions. Let's kick off with some existing features that we just want to bring back to your attention. Some of you have maybe used this a long time, so this will be boring, but it's stuff that we think people are missing out on if they don't use it. We just want to show you about it. The first thing is a telephone system. It's sort of a VoIP integration. It's within GoodX Web. We also integrate with your hardware phones. You can come and talk to us at the GoodXpo IT store, or we have a man, Chris. I'll show you a photo. If you find him, he sets you up with your GoodX Web and your telephone system. It's a whole thing where you can call your patients directly from the web. You can call the debtor, the patient, any one of them. You can call the medical aid. If you call the medical aid, sometimes they ask for a code. We have a built-in keypad there where you can just, if you go through those prompts that they usually ask you about, it allows incoming calls. It's cheaper and easier to do it right from your web. You sit with the headset on, calls come in, you answer, you talk. It logs it, it records the voice recording. Everything is done in the system. Very nice. If you want to talk to us about this. This is the man Chris. Find him around, he'll set you up. Next up we have smart stickers. Think of these as the stickers you would usually put on a brown file, your patient files. Put some stickers on there to sort of classify, distinguish something, maybe put a disease on there, or we should do this with this patient or something like that. Different practices use it differently. Think of it like that. You label the patient with different levels of things. You can see what we've put there, some stickers. It shows almost everywhere on the system where the patient widget is showing underneath. And you can click it anytime, remove it, or update it to a new status, as you can see here. What it's commonly used for is PMB registration follow-ups. The whole protocol can also allow you to auto-build billing codes and stuff like that. So as you can see, it just makes the management of PMBs very easy. You can see it looks like that. Then also we have a talk on Zalkitsen in Diamond Room 2 at 9:50. That's going to go into detail on this if you want to know more. The PDF printover, it is an old feature, but it's been improved a lot since last year. The main problem was how to set it up. Everything you want to do now, everything you can dream of can now be done in the front end. You just drag and drop text boxes or images or signatures around. You put placeholders in there. You set this up with default forms that practices usually have to send to medical aids, PMB registration stuff, chronic disease registration forms, I don't know all the names. You can go to Tiana's talk in Diamond Room 2 to find out more about this. You set up one template. You go onto a patient, you select James PMB registration form. If you've set it up correctly with all the placeholders, it just auto-fills from the demographic data. Very nice, just saves a lot of time. I don't want to lie, but I think also we have a smallish library of already configured PMB, like most of the popular ones. So you can talk to, I think, Francois, come to the dev room or something and we'll get you the right people. And they have a list of these things which you can just import, so you even don't have to do the setup yourself for the popular ones.
Your FCL will be able to help you with that.
Your FCL will help. That's what I said. Okay, these are just wanted to show the example. So it looks like this when you set it up. Some of the forms look a little bit cramped. You just put the placeholders in the correct place, and then when you use this form then on a patient, it just fills in with the correct demographic data. Another important thing to note is that some of the, let me know. Hello? No, that thing is not as slack as this one here now. Some of the fields you have to input manually for some reasons every time. So you will put most of the placeholders on the paper with one input box that you sort of toggle to manual. And every time you just have to input that one thing and then the form is complete. Then the patient dashboard also has been in the system actually a while now. There's also some improvements coming to this where people have given us feedback, so they want to select different profiles because they want to share this data with different staff members or collaborative practitioners, so other people they're working on a certain case. This is like a nice view into a patient's data. You set this up yourself. If you want to see blood pressure across all the visits from your examination form, you set up the widget like that, you call it what you want, you give it the color that you want, you choose the order that you want here, and every practice sets this up differently because they know what they want to see when they click on the patient dashboard button for that patient. And the patient dashboard button to access this is almost everywhere on the system, on every sidebar where there's a patient applicable.
Again, your FCL can help you with this. The setup of this.
With setup, yeah. So yeah, lots of different sort of widgets, as we call them, images, graphs, tables, all these examples. Very nice. Okay, Kobus again.
Okay. So, you guys are probably aware of the capture app that we have in the system, but we have built a new one. And it's a lot prettier. I think the old one we kept adding features to it and we never revisited it. It's feature-wise exactly the same. It's just much, much easier to use. You effectively have a camera. If you click picture, you upload it immediately. You voice note, it uploads immediately, or you can elect to upload later, and then there's a screen where you can view them and upload them later. Same features, just much prettier. And I think we call it now Cloud Capture. And again, just pass your FCL. It's just your normal URL /app/cloud_capture, and you log in with your user as usual. A new feature, printing app. So this is an often requested thing. People print a lot. You write scripts, you write sick notes, you have labels. These things go to different places, and it is sometimes really annoying. Firstly, you have to click print and wait 2 or 3 seconds for the print to show up, and then you have to click print, and then you have to choose. So part of how we are solving that is we've built a EXE. It's a one-time install. You add a printer. This is in our system. You go to the printer list, you give it a name, and you generate a secret key. That secret key, you load your URL in there, you load your secret key there, and then you choose this, and this will choose from your local printers. You choose the printer, you choose the tray and the page and the quality and all of those lacquer things. And then when you click, you can print directly. So nothing pops on your screen anymore. You click print to brother. You can also set it as a default. And you can also do things like have your labels go to one printer. So in other words, if you click on script, it'll print as an A4, but if you click on maybe a sick note, it'll print A5, and if you click on label, it will print in downstairs in different places. And this is obviously entirely separate from you. You could have the software on the other side of the planet. You could click print and have it print someone's house in London if you wanted to. That would be a weird thing to do, but you could do that. And yeah, so this is a pilot project. We've got a little, I just want to quickly show you. If we've got this little pilot thingy at the bottom, it means it's a new feature that we are looking for people who are interested to partake in it. And you can contact your FCL or find us in the dev room, and we'll have it set up for you. Okay, next thing, booking verification. So we've had facial recognition in the system for the longest time, but it hasn't been wonderful to use, and there's other problems that we really need to solve. So one of those is, how do you know you're working on the right John Smith? This happens because we're usually the people doing the forensic audit on why the wrong John Smith was worked on, and Oftentimes it is literally same name, same date of birth, or same name, living in the same neighborhood, same street, that kind of thing. It happens. Really, really annoying. So what this does is it adds a little verify button on your sidebar where your staff can say, and there's a couple of reasons, like I checked the ID, just a couple of manual reasons why you would verify, or if you used facial recognition, and you find the patient, you can then click on the verify button there and then it auto-verifies because of the facial recognition. Also allows you to input the face then on the account. And then it will give you a little green smiley, which again, all of this can be turned on or off. But what this does is it gives you a quick visual way to know whether this patient was validated by someone in your practice. And again, if it wasn't, it's not a crisis, but then you might just want to double check that you're indeed on the right file. And this is again to protect yourself. There's medical legal risks everywhere. Badge tracking. This is a stock feature. This is on your stock invoices. There's a little extra thing that pops up if you set up the stock item as badge tracking, and then you can input a lot number, expiry date, quantity, and a barcode. And this boils down to your typical more expensive things you want to track that can expire. And it's very convenient. Also, if you want to track individual items, you can just use the serial number as the lot number. And we've got a couple of people doing that. Document extraction, fairly basic. This is as you would expect. You take a picture. Picture needs to be dark background. The lighter the background is, the less it works, or the less accurate it works. You click that little button, the extract button that's sliding past. That's on the edit bar, and it effectively spits out a squared paper. This is just the paper I scribbled on, so don't think it's a doctor, because it is ugly handwriting, so it could be a doctor. Oh no. Combrink. Our order is wrong. Theatre collaboration has been skipped. Kan ons geklik om, wat doen ons? Okay, yeah, so theatre collaboration, unfortunately, I don't, for some reason, our system skipped this one. There is a talk on this by Franco at 9:25, and this is about sending a theatre list to either as a hospital to a surgeon, or as a surgeon to your anesthesiologist, or whichever way, and the hospital can send the theatre slot, the slate, to a doctor, and the doctor can book his operations on that, and it'll sync back in. This is a feature we've been working on for quite some time, and it's been a frustrating one to get out, but it is now actually in production. Yes? Yes, you can do it that way as well. But at that point, it's probably easier to print it and email it as well. But you can do that if they're willing to log in on it. So effectively what this does is it allows GoodX practitioners to share with each other, but because of brand exchange, you can actually share to someone who's not a GoodX practitioner, because not everybody's going to be on GoodX, and we don't want everybody to be on GoodX. There are unpleasant doctors out there, and they should stay on the other systems. Just kidding, but our system also has its issues. All systems have issues, and it's good that there's competition. It's actually healthy for us as a business that there's competition out there for us. And those doctors, they can also collaborate. It's actually an open system, and any of our competitors could theoretically pull that data in and integrate with it. We couldn't even stop them. It's published on our website. They just don't seem to do it. Okay, next up, Combrink.
Okay, you already went in here. Okay, so the inbox is one of the features that was on the roadmap of last year's conference, and those of you who were there, it was one of the most voted for features, together with some of the other stuff that's also still coming. So we finally developed it. It's a very nice way of receiving incoming emails, and because we've now done it, WhatsApps. So you no longer have to go go on a patient's notebook and find out what SMSs get sent out at one time, or emails and whatever. Everything on one page, sort of looking like we're used to see a conversation on any sort of messaging app or browser-based communication thing. So the first thing is that everything is available: SMSs, email, faxes. That's for Canada, because those people still use faxes. Secure messages and WhatsApps, and I'll quickly talk more about the secure message. So this is sort of what it will look like. You'll be able to filter the different communication types at the top. All of your threads are there. You just click on a patient. Is this thing dying? Okay, it's not dying. It just shows you all the communication with timestamps, what email it came from, next to the patient or data that you talk to. Everything on one page. Very nice. What we've added recently as a communication method is secure message. You can think of this as a secure email. This is classed as a clinical communication form. Yes. It's halfway available on 1.16, and some of the quality of life features will be in 1.17. So it depends on where you are, but yes.
This is already used in Canada, extensively in Canada. This was an absolute crime. Yes. It's this or fax.
Okay, so but if you have any questions or want to know how can we see it, how can we start trying it out? It is still a work in progress because it is difficult to sort of fix all the nuances with how an inbox works and what we do when an SMS comes in and we don't know what patient this is, and there's some stuff, but we're fixing it, and you can just come talk to us if you want to start using it on your system and then give feedback. Let's get back to the secure message. It's classed as a clinical communication method where you can discuss clinical information with your patient, sort of like a secure email, and the communication sits behind authentication on the patient's side. You send this message directly to the patient that is logged in on his MyGC app. So you can discuss with him, how's it going with this rash? He sends you a photo back, everything in our system. There, sort of how it will look like on the MyGC side, where he asks you something, you send back, the patient sends him back X-ray JPEG that he got somewhere. I don't know why we'll have that. And then one of the requested features together with the inbox last year was, can we have WhatsApp integration? And we have now done that. It works very nicely. The problem with WhatsApp is, because we don't want unsolicited spam, you have to start communication with your patient with a verified template that you sort of have to set up with Meta, and you can't like write whatever you want in there. They audit it, they check it, you can only send that template. So the plan sort of will be, we set up a few templates that's booking confirmations, or here's a statement link, and it's just that, but it's an already confirmed template. The moment you send out a booking confirmation template, we have buttons at the bottom. That patient can just hit confirm or reject. The moment he hits confirm or reject, it sends the message back to us. It says confirm. At this point, you have open communication, 24 hours with that patient, and you can then talk to him. After 24 hours, a new template will have to be sent to open up that communication. But come talk to us if you have any more questions. Okay, it was just in the wrong order. Here's the theater collaboration that Kobus talked to you about. This is what it will look like on Grand Exchange with some of the operations listed. That's the default theater screen as you know in GoodX. Again, if you have any questions, come to the dev room. Booking status notifications. So this is something that you can set up to let you know about certain statuses that you care about. It's set up per user. If you care about a booking going into a certain status, you set it up for yourself on your mobile device or your browser. The mobile device one is not as robust as the browser because we can't control the notifications that the different vendors send out to phones, and there's so much settings that the operating system on phones have to block notifications or not block when the screen is locked and stuff like that. But sometimes it works lacquer if you really want that. The browser one works very well every time. Typically you won't need the notifications if you're just on GoodX because you can see the diary. But let's say you're on a different screen, you're either in your email tab or you're in GoodX but on another screen. It will just pop up with a nice message to say, hey patient, with booking at this time, the status has moved into this. So you can then concentrate quickly.
So one of the reasons doctors like this is if you're with a patient and you don't know if the next patient is in, there's this point where you're almost anxious to get this guy out, but you don't want to be rude. Whereas if you can watch for the corner of your screen and the next guy's not ready, you can chat with Tansaniki and you can spend 15 minutes with her and she will think you're the best doctor ever. But if that pops in, you can say, sorry man, the next person is ready, and you're not going to get outside and there's an empty room. And yeah, that's the awkward bit. So this allows doctors and the nurses and everybody in the business who are interested in specific statuses in their diary to react quicker and at the same time actually, have more time available. So it's quite nice.
Yeah. So yeah, provide some accuracy there with your time management. Yeah, very nice. No, this is just what it will look like on a phone, and it will have the pop-up. Where the pop-up comes in, it depends on the operating system and browser. We have found sometimes it pops up at the bottom, but on the default Chrome, I think it's at the top. Wait, I quickly want to mention, there's 2 talks that you can go to find out more about this. The one is going into detail about specifically this feature. It's 10:40 in the Diamond Room 2, and Chris Wolvaardt at 11, that's the guy you should also find if you want Boyd. He's having a talk at 11, also in that room. It's more of a related topic. It's where we'll discuss the RFID tags that you can set up in your practice to automatically move bookings along, and it just ties in nicely with the booking status notifications, where a staff member doesn't even have to be at the computer to move a patient through a practice. It just moves the status along, and then together with the notifications, makes it very seamless, easy. Then just a generic topic list screens. This is something that you will see a lot if you're on the Deploy 16 branch. It's a new thing we developed where most of these lists that you constantly have to manage will have a very consistent look. They will all look the same. They'll have the same sort of filter at the top. They'll have the same way of extracting information from it, either to a PDF, CSV, because we found that people want, I don't know what kind of data, but every time they ask, how can we get this on a CSV? How can we get this on a CSV? So we've just made that all of these list screens that you see throughout the system can be exported to a CSV. It's almost completely customizable. It's getting there. It will be there in like the next release or so, where you can choose per user or entity what filters and columns you want to see for a specific list, like let's say stock or list of users or lists of privileges, all of that stuff. Some of just, I think we have 4 examples here to say like the main uses of this since we've rolled it out. The birthday report is one that people constantly asked about. They just want to have a list screen of all the patients and have filters the way they want it, because not everyone wants to filter it the same way, and they want to bulk action this with SMSs, emails, or scheduled dials for them. Obviously, now there will be secure message and WhatsApp in that cycle action, and you can just filter people whose birthday is today or tomorrow or next week, schedule a bulk SMS, and it will go. The recall report, where you can filter on diagnosis and either send out SMSs to you how it's going or call them back within 2 weeks. You can filter what patient had what diagnosis and within what time frame, and this is very nice for audits really to SMS or get communication open to those patients.
And procedure codes.
So the example there is only the ICD-10 code, but you can sort of do anything, search for names. Then, okay, then similar to that, the smart sticker report. So I mentioned the smart stickers earlier. This is just very, as you can see, very consistent. Everything looks the same. The filters, we have different filters, but they look and work the same. To pull a report on this, export it to a CSV can be very helpful to see what sort of protocols have you registered against what patients, or what patients currently have the PMB not registered, or whatever. Anything like that, you know what you need. So different practices use this differently. And yeah, think also a lot of requests for just an easy way to filter booking history according to different criteria. You can, I think what most people want to know is how many follow-up bookings did I have in the past month. The easy way to do this according to the booking history report by booking type. Then something Kobus mentioned earlier, this is GoodXpert. It will be identifiable by this icon that is currently at 3 places in the system. It's at the quick note, the referral letter, and the report. So those 3 forms have this little icon right in the corner of the text area. And as you can see here, it's pilot. We want to get people to start using it if you're coming up to the newer versions. And we want to find out what can be better, how can we improve, does it help you, what do we need to add to it, because yeah, we've just developed this and we want to hear how it works. And basically, as I think I've said there at the top, it's like a ChatGPT, but it's right in your system, it's integrated. Very important, I think, because most of you will ask, we are not sending this data to ChatGPT, really. It's a ChatGPT-like model. We're running it on our own service because we cannot let because as you can see here, let me share, you can include the patient's demographic data, medical history, and this visits data. And if you include all 3 of those, and you ask this thing a question like, write me a report or something, it's mind-blowing how good it is with extracting information from that form and just putting it for you in a readable paragraph. Very nice, and we're not sending this data out.
So one of our examples, we had a quick note, and the quick note we wrote down that we see that this patient has neurological symptoms that's worrying us, we think he might have epilepsy. And then later when we said, right, we're a referral report, it immediately picked that up, and it's like, because of symptoms that's congruent with this and that, and I'm referring him to a neurologist, it just kind of assumed it. It was really quite cool to see.
If you want to know more about this, come talk to come talk to Kobus, come talk to me, come talk to us in the dev room. We'll like to show you how it works, or get you maybe on the deployed branch where this currently is, so you can start playing with it and give feedback. Okay, these are upcoming features. They are already built, sort of. The first thing is a new LIMS system that we're building together with Sarba on South Africa, that will be rolling out beginning of next year, sometime there. It's a complete laboratory management module. We've never had this in GoodXweb. If you're a laboratory in UK, you can also come and talk to us if you want to work with us, get feedback or see how it works. A whole management system from requisition to reporting. This is like the inbox. In last year's roadmap, this was, I think, the second most voted for feature. I can't remember exactly, and we have done that. It's already built, sort of, so you won't see it yet, but it did. Now it's tickets. It's not tickets. It's not, right? So I think because most people that's on the system know that you can you set up all these things on the desktop application, but we obviously want you to move over to the web. So one of the main things missing was how to set up, and it's very complicated. The price lists and all the codes and the linkings and the tariff groups and all the rules, and most of them are already in the web. It will be like in the next release. You'll be able to set up, and as you can see here again, just getting back to, it's the list screen, it's a consistent field that you see every time. So you set up tariff packages, you link tariff packages with different price lists, you can override local prices per price list, all of these nice stuff. If you click into one of that tariff groups, you will get to this screen where it will show you the linked tariff codes. There's another tab with the linked tariff price lists. If you click onto that and you want to manage that one, you get to this screen with codes, and you can override the local prices for this code. All of these nice things, I think, that you already know from the desktop will be available in the web soon. The debtors listing was also voted for last year. It was on the roadmap. This is halfway done, where we want to give you the way to sort of medically blacklist within the GoodX sphere a debtor as a slow payer or non-payer, just to include it for other GoodX web practices. When they pull the patient's benefits, it will include what other practice with a cell number or practice and what they marked this debtor as, for example, a slow payer or something like that.
The reason it needs to be a local list is that medically blacklisting someone in, boob augmentation or us, the problem is you go to Edgar's and, someone says, boob augmentation or us. It's like you're not allowed to even leak that someone was at a doctor. But within the doctor community, it is okay. We've had, Alsby Clinic has actually given us an opinion on this. So we will get to that. But again, much work, little time.
Okay, the stock module, for those of you that use stock, will be glad to hear. I think this is almost complete. It will be complete soonish. It's a whole new, I think the stock module is right in the middle at the bottom of your navigation wheel. It's pinkish, and you will be able to send the same consistent look, all of these list screens, and when you double click on one of them, you can edit the stock item, you can add it from the stock invoice screen. This is the list screen that you will see where you can do a stock take with the double capture value where if you put in the same first count and second count, you can do stock takes for warehouses and counting locations, all of these nice things. The stock item list and the edit screen to put in all the properties that a stock item may have in the web. Sorry, there's a speech bubble there. Rochelle from Melinda in Diamond Room 2, 11:30 is talking about just stock, and you can learn more there. Okay, back to Kobus.
So we are running a bit late, so we're going to move all of the talks out a bit. I think we're just going to have to move it about 10 or 15 minutes because there's quite a bit left and we started late. Okay. Mobile offline app. So offline is one of the most requested features. Hannes, as jy reg om te mute. So we are building a phone-friendly version of GoodX Web, and this is a lightweight version so that you can check from home. The idea is that you can log in with your normal credentials, similar to the Capture app. It's just a sub-app. And everybody gets this. You can view your diary there. Luckily, we've got Jacques from the Rowan cancelled. It's very good. For those who don't know what that means, that's anyways, it does not yet have offline mode, but it has been designed in from the start. That's one of the next features that will come. That's why it's in the sort of column. You can make bookings on the go. You can add a patient or a debtor. You can view things like allergies and stuff like that. This is for your Inspire and a patient calls. You can, rather than having to Zoom and have a very unpleasant experience, you can log in, you can make a quick note, you can add a voice note, you can take a picture, you can even add a document if you like from your phone. So the idea is we've made quick notes available and you can view the whole patient file as PDFs, so you'll have to scroll through the notes as PDFs. But effectively, this gives you the basics of GoodX Web in the palm of your hand. It really is, I think, going to be very exciting. If you are interested, this is one of those pilot projects. Find the dev room. It might already be available on some of your systems. If you're on the latest 1.16, a release of this is already actually available. But maybe come talk to the devs. The person who develops this minion is there, and you can get to know the dev. Incoming referrals. Okay, so we've had online bookings for the longest time, where you effectively send out a URL, patient or anybody can click on that, view available slots, make a booking. Now, this is not for patients. This is for a specialist to send to another doctor who refers to them. Similar to that, it's all the same data, represents your practice. The other practice fills in their details. They then end up putting in their treatment date, the basic details of why they're referring, and they can attach notes. And when they click OK, this thing comes in as a task on your side. So if you have a lot of incoming referrals and it's from the same people over and over, you can send them a link and they can electronically do that. You can actually also, if they're on GoodX Web, have them send it directly to you. Again, pilot work, so if you're interested, come knock on the right at the end there. Dental fixes or extensions. I feel a bit bad about the dental. It kept falling off of our list and we're finally getting to it. A little bit on the late side, but it is going to get some attention. This is only a bit, but there's more coming. So this is a treatment plan. Effectively, we've always had the ability to do estimates, but what you can now do is you make a treatment plan and you add multiple estimates to it. There's a little button, you select which ones you want to add, and now you can make 2 treatment paths, maybe a cheap one and an expensive one, or whatever. You can split out the cosmetic work from the other work or whatever. And then it prints a nice cover sheet. So not only do you have 2 estimates below this, but you have the estimates totaled up and a quick note. And that note can actually then function as a reason that the patient can use. So it's very convenient. And then the other one is on the orthodontic side. This is a payment plan. Effectively, you load how much you quoted the patient, primary amount, stall amount, how many remaining, and you give it a code and a primary diagnosis, and this thing will bill monthly. There's a button you click that adds it to a multi-invoice, and you can, on a monthly basis, invoice people, and they can pay up until they can get their orthodontics done. Consultation transcription. This we spoke about earlier. You know the screen. Now, at the bottom, once it's added, there's a create recording and a stop recording button. If you click create recording, if you have only one microphone, it doesn't do this, but if you have one, you have to pick the microphone, and once you've done that, it sits nicely there, and you can continue with your work. You can open your notes, and you can do scripts. You can keep working while this recording is running. So it's a background process. And then when it's done, you still have the recording. It gives you this is obviously, don't read this, we were playing around, letting it record random stuff, but it transcribes it and it gives you a GPT summary. And in time, this will be extended and worked on to give better notes and to extract valuable things like maybe blood pressure. So if you're interested, this is still a research project, but I think it can already be of value, and we really do need doctors to work with us on this. We don't really know where to go next. We need some probably GPs or people who consult with human beings and are willing to speak and speak enough English with their patients that this shouldn't be you shouldn't be a platlandse Noord-Kaap praktijk. That's not gonna work. Lastly, asset register. This is it's long been requested. It's not that important, I think, but it is handy. This just allows you to keep a list of assets in your business. This is for devices. This is for things like, the blood pressure machine or the X-ray machine or the tables or whatever, computers. And it's the normal stuff. You can kind of input which department and where it is, a serial number. I think you can take a photo. You can add what invoice. You can add a value and a depreciation schedule, and then you can do a depreciation on it. Okay, now, roadmap. So, last year we had accounting on the roadmap, we still have it on the roadmap. Accounting, this means full bank recon, this means journals, trial balance sheet. This is stuff we do on the desktop today. We can put this in the web. If we want to put it in the web, we will put it in the web. The question is kind of where and when do we, there's only so much there that can be done, and it's one of those things. So, you're going to vote on all of these features, so do take a note. We're going to vote in a couple of seconds. You get only 2 votes. Clinical collaboration. I'm sure you guys have seen on your clinical notes, there's a little button that says add new case, and that defaults to general. Now the idea has always been that thing should have expanded, and we just kind of never got around to it, but we want to get around to it now. One of the things we want to do there is not only allow you to add a new case, but then add the other practitioners that's treating the person for that. Now, just because you're treating Johnny for one thing doesn't mean, the physio needs to know about that. But for his sprain, the physio does need to know. And then the idea is that once you've added those people, you can elect certain notes and it will auto-share to them, and their notes will auto-share back to you on certain types of notes and whatnot. So you can kind of collaborate We'll probably add a video call mechanism in that where the doctors can collaborate and maybe a chat. We'll see. This is, again, if you're interested in this, please talk to us. We know you want to do this. We know this is needed, but how it looks, we really need input from doctors on this one because else we're just going to build something stupid. Okay, Employee Hub. You already have your users in the system. So we've thought maybe we add an employee table to the back to the thing where you can add your employees, list their salaries, time and attendance, do some leave management if you like, maybe have a personnel file where you can kind of log the basics, and maybe an integration with a Simple Pay or one of those systems that's well priced, easy to use, and we then can do your HR. It's just, I think it's not that big of a project, but it could be handy because a lot of people have to solve this, and it's a really annoying little thing. So yeah. Social media integrations. Internationally, we've been asked about this quite a bit. Having a website that is kind of driven from your GoodX, where there's maybe a little online booking portal, and maybe talking into things like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. We can write maybe a message or something in one place and publish it to all the platforms. And we do have patient surveys which are currently not deployed, but it was there many years ago. We can maybe put that back, and if a patient's happy, you can prompt them to go to Facebook to write a review. Just kind of curating your online presence might be useful. We still have to think about on how this would work, but if this is of interest, again, you can vote for it. And then the image skin AI, we have been looking at Skinive. There are many APIs, but this one happens to be, this is an accuracy grid, and it's surprisingly accurate, and the accuracy and the specificity is very high on this. It costs between about 5 and 8 rand a check, or around there, could be as low as 3 rand, we're not quite sure yet. And it will be built on a per check basis. So if this is of use to you, I would really like to know. We've not put it in yet. We do know we can put it in. We've done the basics of getting a kind of a pilot that's okay for a developer to go in. And the images you saw earlier with the kind of the segmentation, that's how it would work. It actually spits out an image where it cuts out the thing. So it might just be handy to make your notes a bit nicer or something. But again, there's a cost per time you use it, so maybe that's of no interest in. Okay, so voting. I would love to see who is interested in accounting, having accounting in. You only have 2 votes. Okay. So, clinical collaboration, who's interested in that? Okay, just below accounting. Employee Hub. Who would be interested in Employee Hub? Wow, that's a surprising one. Cool. Social media integration. That's interesting. Okay. And then the image skin AI. Only a couple. Okay. So the people who are interested in that, please come talk to us at the dev office so we can actually kind of figure it out, because that is a very easy thing to do. That is something we could do if we have enough people that are interested. We don't need it to be voted in, but the others, it's curious. Combrink, you would say Employee Hub 1, social media 2nd, accounting, and then clinical. Okay, that 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we are, I think, we can do it quickly. And before that, I just want to quickly say, we are sorry about the coffee, so we're going to give all of you a 1/4 kilogram coffee. That's really incidental. We've made our own GoodX coffee because we're a big coffee culture company. The GoodX says, this grind will blow your mind, and on the backside it says, you've asked for a bug-free product, we delivered. There's 2 kinds of coffee, both of them medium roast. There is a gift for each one of you. Do remember to pick it up on your way out, please. This is just a bit of our, I think, coffee culture and joke culture that we'd love to share. Any questions? We're going to have a quick 5-minute questions. If you don't want to do questions, go grab some coffee so long, and then in about maybe 10 minutes we'll start, or 7 minutes we'll start the next talk. Any questions?
Hi. The GPT transcriber that you're using, which large language model is it based on? And in the clinical data that it pulls on the recommendation base when doing referrals, what database is that?
So the question is, what model are we using? We use the Llama 3 model, which is an open source model that we run locally. We might change it with time, but for now it's Llama 3. And what clinical data? It literally takes your notes that you've just saved and the notes that are on that form, those notes get pushed in.
How does it interpret the clinical notes and then contextualize it? Who's doing that and what?
So we effectively take the raw data and feed it to the GPT, and it just figures it out. It is really, we take the quick note of whatever there is, and we literally feed that raw data in, and it just reads it. Not at all. We literally take your notes, the patient's name and surname, with the medical history. We take the JSON data that you would get on the back-end call. We feed that in as text with a question, and it reads it. You cannot believe what these things do. It literally reads and understands JSON.
I want to know, on the offline app, would the hospital list be available on that, or just the diary patients?
You're talking about the hospital rounds. Yes, it will be with time, but second. But if you do pop in, please do go pop in. If you're interested, there's a couple of things we do know. We need to add the tasks there at some point. The theatre list for your theatre or your operations and the hospital rounds. Those are the things that need to be added. The order they will be added will depend on who's interested, who's asking. So if you find it's like a short dark-haired girl, just tackle her, say, are you a minion? And then you tell her you want it. Any other questions, Mark?
I have two questions. The first one is on the operating system. I think for those who are using the Apple product, is it operational now? We can run the program on Safari.
Yes, you can. We always keep it working on Safari. It has always been working on Safari. The only thing we warn people is that Safari tends to remove features once in 3 years. And when they do that, there's no false warning. So usually we need to then force people to take an update within a week to get it working again. So that's the biggest risk. We've not had that since before COVID, I think. It's the last time we actually had a big Safari issue. Yeah, it works in Safari. You can trust. We will make it work in Safari. But we do just beg your forgiveness if it does happen that Safari changes their system. It does take us a couple of days to get it fixed. It's only happened twice.
Yes. And so another question is about the allied services integration. If now I order blood to a given laboratory, let's say Lancet, from my system, if Lancet doesn't use GoodX, how am I going to receive the result from the system?
Yeah, we have integrations with them, API integrations. None of them use GoodX, but we have integrations into Lancet, Vermaak, Pathcare, and Ambath. Pathcare tends to be a bit, so they're the ones who are limited on what we're allowed to order, I think. But Lancet and Ambath works beautifully, and Vermaak also works beautifully, and there's some others that also work. I mean, obviously they do have their issues with times. Lancet just had a big issue this week where they flipped, 2 weeks ago, where they flipped to a new system and there was something wrong. Pathcare, yesterday, I think, sent out an email saying their system's offline. But broadly speaking, that's something you log with our support. It takes us a couple of days to figure it out. Once it's working, it works. It could take a bit of fighting to get it working, but after that, it just kind of runs. And you can still send in a paper, and it will also electronically come in.
And the last question is about the price updating. I think you do it once a year. And most of the time, I don't know, maybe others they have the same problem. I do have the problem. Sometimes when the financial year ends, and you want to bill the patient, you don't have the price doesn't go up. So you need to call, I have to call from Schwa, I have to update that. It's almost a year. I find it a bit cumbersome.
The financial year will give you errors. Once you move over, you have to do your year end, but you shouldn't have to load new prices. And that will probably give you a pricing error because your period is closed, but that is something, as long as it's scheduled ahead of time, we can just do that during the year, or you can actually open it beforehand. That just needs to be organized ahead of time. Okay, any other questions?
Yes, I've got a question related to the software. And then do I have to buy software or do I need to rent it? And then what is the price if I buy it as one payment?
I
Then
don't.
how often you got your software against cyber threats?
So there's a couple of questions there. It's a software as a service model. We host it for you. It's web-based. So it runs on the cloud. You rent it from us, pay us monthly. We do all the backups, all the hosting, all of that. We're an ISO 27001 audited company, which means we follow an international standard on how we deal with your data. That means your data gets replicated to a second machine and to a third machine that's in a different data center. We take, I think, hourly snapshots on these machines of the data, and I think then it goes up to daily and then weekly, and we keep a couple of months or at least a month or two worth of snapshots. We have 3 triple replication running, and we also have multiple load balancers running, so we can often lose a machine. We have lost a couple of machines, and you probably not have noticed it. Unless we lose a database machine, you won't even know it. And then in terms of pricing, if you just go out right here and find there's a bunch of marketers there, I don't know the pricing. It depends on a million variables. Yeah. Okay, so yes, so you will have to take the voice note, you'll have to use the capture app we've got, do a voice note on that one, and then go to a computer and load on the right file. That would be the way to do it. We don't currently. Yes, well, you can just go and add it on the consultation transcription as well. You just go click plus and pull it in. Yes, you have to go take it. Alternatively, we could probably also add to the mobile app the deep ground one, but for now I would just start by using the capture app to capture the voice note and then go put it in the right place. I think the new capture app was rolled out on 1.16.29, so you need to be on one of the latest versions. So as long as you're on the latest 1.16, it will be available. You can just ask, they will update you, and you know what version you are. Yeah, we can help you with that if you want to. Just update you. The new capture is very, very much nicer.